Hello, and welcome back to our tropical
Oasis.
This is Queer Cinema Catch Up, and we are reviewing White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 2.
Correct.
Which I don't even know what
I don't know what the title is either, but here I can tell you right now because I'm on the page. It's called Special Treatments.
Okay, which makes sense because Belinda and who we just discovered she might be attracted to.
Oh yes, her partner in crime, the
masseuse who's teaching her all of his lessons in Thai.
The hotel.
So she can bring them back to her Hawaii location.
I feel like his title isn't masseuse. It's probably like wellness director
and
or something like that. And
yeah.
same with her. But yes, she definitely was attracted to him. We could tell because it was time for her to massage him. She was gandering and looked.
Well, he comes out, he's like all ripped. And then he's like, how do you want me, on my belly or my back? And she's like, on my belly. I mean, on your belly.
Yeah. And the other big development with Belinda is that she might recognize somebody at the hotel. And
What's his name?
It was the character from Season 1 and Season 2, who in the last episode we didn't talk about how his girlfriend said he was a LBH, standing for loser back home. It's all the bald men, white men lingering around the resort, which apparently is a real term in resorts like that, which seems kind of cruel. Where is he in this list, this cast of... Oh, John Grease as Gary Greg
actor.
Hunt, a man involved with Chloe and the
Gary?
widower. Yeah. And the widower of Tanya. It was Greg. But maybe...
Wait, his name's Greg or Gary?
It was definitely Greg, and now I'm wondering if we're going to find out it's also Gary. I didn't even pick up on the fact that maybe he's been given a different name, which is
Spoilers.
Suspicious. But yes, it seems like Belinda might recognize him, which could lead to some confrontation. Perhaps she's wondering where Tanya is.
Yeah.
And also, I believe he said he was dying in Season 1 of cancer, and he appears to be quite well. And I was telling Joe this off camera. I saw some speculation that this actually could be a prequel.
But now we know it's not.
Well, not necessarily. It could be a prequel to Season 2, but not to Season 1.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, that's funny that you mentioned that. How much should I elaborate on where we've been doing our screenings? I won't go into detail about it. Or should I even mention?
You couldn't say. We're bouncing around town watching this show. We may or may not be watching it people who work in the biz.
Yeah.
Which makes it sound pretty cool.
And so when Belinda looked at Greg/Gary, one of our friends said, oh, there goes the theory that it's a prequel. And I was like, oh, so it's not a prequel. But then did he say that
To throw you off.
because it is a prequel?
I could see it, but I could see it being a prequel.
Which, why does it matter?
Because then you can bring Jennifer Coolidge back, basically.
Oh.
That's really the only reason. Because then she's still alive.
I'm kind of fine with her being gone. I love these new cast of characters.
I do too. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing her
I'm not
pop in
opposed, but
for one special episode.
I don't know. I'm just like over the whole like Marvel like, guess what celebrity we have coming in to surprise you in this.
I don't want to
thing.
see a celebrity being a superhero, but I don't mind seeing them in regular things.
In my watch of White Lotus yesterday, I just kind of sat down and I just was like really enjoying what I was watching, and I actually it's just like so. I really do feel like Season 3 is a return to form. I'm sure we talked about it in the last episode, but I just feel like they have more control. Like the cinematography is like back. They have more control of like, or appear to have more like of the hotel to film at, which really I think ties into this episode. They're allowed to use more of the space, and thus more extreme things can happen.
Yes.
Like someone can come into the store with a gun and start shooting.
Which is what happens to Amy Lou Wood's character. And
Amy Lou Woods is the partner of...
Oh gosh, the character names, you guys. This is so hard. Walton Goggins playing Rick Hatchett. And Amy Lou Wood playing Chelsea.
Yeah.
So she gets held up. So that was interesting because it kind of had two intersecting storylines. The security guard who's guarding the gate gets distracted by another masseuse who is he invites him to a fight.
Oh, yeah.
And some people were thinking that he set, in my group, we watched separately this week, people were thinking that maybe they got set up. It was a setup to distract the security guard.
Absolutely was a setup.
Oh, well.
The motorcycle guy, he totally was distracting the guy.
But he was
who I wonder if
staff
was gay.
member. Which one? The security guard?
The motorcycle guy. No, the security guard is in love with that one woman.
Maybe, but his pitch as to why was a little...
His pitch?
He gave her a pitch. He was like, here's why I want to date you. And it was sort of like, we're from the same town.
He seems like genuinely like...
He seems to like her, but it just wasn't...
Oh, it seemed like a crush.
It didn't seem very like... I don't know. I felt like there could have been more specific... I can't stop thinking about you because you make me laugh when you do this thing. It was very like, we live in the same town. Everyone we know knows each other. You're much smarter than me.
I'll be honest, I don't really pay attention to the dialogue when they're talking. I'm like the least invested in that storyline.
That's awful!
Why?
You don't pay attention. What? Don't say that.
Why?
We can say it. You can say whatever you want. You just don't pay attention to one whole storyline? You're going to miss a piece of the puzzle.
They're kind of, I mean, I feel like they have a crush on each other.
No, I don't think she's into it. Like
she's
that.
not into it.
But then at the end, she kind of was because he was brave, which I thought was interesting. Even though he lets the thief come in, and then the thief holds up the little store, and Amy Lou Woods is a little terrorized, Chelsea. Even though that happens, then when the thief tries to leave, the security guard intervenes and gets like knocked over, and then the other woman who works in the hotel, Mook, seems much more. She's like, I was really worried about you, and he's like, you were worried about me. I guess he does like her. I guess he does, but I felt like his like, hey, let's get together and be a couple and go on a date. It was very like bland. He was just like, I like you because we're from the same town.
Mm-hmm. Bland people don't deserve love, is what you're saying.
I mean, just be more specific. Explain why you love her. Don't say, it's just convenient. We're from the same place.
Sometimes people, that's enough reason for people sometimes.
I don't think so. I think we need more for love.
I mean, could that speak to they're from that town and kind of maybe why she's not attracted to him is because he thinks small picture and she wants a bigger painting for her life. So I think it fits into the storyline. Doesn't mean he's gay.
I didn't say he was gay.
Well, you're like, he's not into her.
I said I just don't know if it was as passionate as we think.
I wasn't talking about the passion. I was saying whether he's attracted to her or not. He really likes her.
He likes the idea of her. And he likes that she's pretty. And that's what I'm going to say about that for now.
Agree.
Good.
I feel like not one topic that we brought up about their relationship have we been eye to eye on. Because we're slightly saying different things.
In the same way.
With each argument.
That's true. We're just getting further away.
Anyway, they're really a small part of the storyline of this episode.
For now.
Well, yes.
For now.
I know that it'll tie in to the tapestry
so you gotta
of
pay
the storyline.
Okay. So then, one last thing's going on with Chelsea and her partner, played by Walton.
That's the actor.
I know. What's the character's name? Walton. Next time I'm going to memorize the name, Jules. I'm so sorry.
That's impossible.
Actually,
there's way too many people.
It's a challenge accepted. I have a really good memory.
Okay.
Next week, I'll know all their names. I'll do a little I'll be studying before
I'm gonna grab this audio, and then if you say, I don't know, next week I'm going to play a little button. It's going to have your voice.
But you have to remind me I said this and I study beforehand. Okay, I'll text myself.
I'll study right now. You need at least a week.
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't need a week. I probably need like 2 days. Okay. Rick Hatchett. So what's going on with Rick is really interesting. It's where I have my main theory for this episode. Do you want to hear?
Shirt off in this episode. He's ripped. I was like, oh my gosh. Did you notice that?
I did not notice. I don't remember. I liked the part where she
really
was
impressed.
like, you guys have so much in common. You're both old and you're both bald. And then he goes, I'm not going bald. And then she goes,
kind of where I wasn't going to mention it, but in that same scene where I'm mentioning that he was like shirtless in bed, he's on the bed with his partner, and they're like showing him, he's like lit, like beautiful, like.
Oh, I do remember.
Beautiful, like just amazing, incredible body. He looks. I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was really, I'm really attracted to you right now. But then it would cut to his girlfriend, but it would show like the back of his head. You could like see like the baldness like peeking out a little bit. So it was like a really interesting like juxtaposition. It's like he's like really like fit and attractive, but he is aging. I don't know if that was the intention, but that, like every time it would cut to, I'm like, oh, but
it's a dichotomy.
And I'm not speaking. I'm not attracted to
Joe's like old
male pattern baldness. I'm not attracted to that. I think it's not okay.
He's digging a hole. Yeah. So Rick.
Beautiful.
Okay, but do you want to hear my theory about him?
Maybe. Is it interesting?
Yes, it's really good.
Give me a hint.
It has to do with.
And is this something you come up with yourself?
Yeah.
Or was this in a group discussion? Alice and I watched this episode separately.
No, this is myself, and everybody at first reacted very like skeptically to what I said, and then later on when I elaborated, 3, 2. But then later on when I elaborated,
the whole room was suspicious, but I won them over individually. There were 2 people.
So, in the beginning, Chelsea signed him up for this sort of like therapist appointment to help manage stress, and he doesn't want to go, but it's already paid for, and he can't get the money back, so he reluctantly goes. And she's trying to ask him, like, when was there ever a time in your life where you didn't feel stressed? And he goes, no, my mom was a drug addict and overdosed when I was 10. So yeah, I was pretty
revealing it to
stressed.
the person.
And that, when he said that, seemed really genuine to me. Mm-hmm. But then she goes, well, what about your dad? And also she was like terrible. It's like this line of questioning isn't working on him. You need to change tracks here. But then she goes, what about your dad? And he goes, my dad was murdered. And the way he said it, I thought he was making fun of her. And I immediately said, do you guys think he's lying? And they were like, no, we don't think that. We think that that's why he's really interested in the hotel's owner, because like it probably has something to do with the murder. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like kind of stewing on that. And then he seems to be very specifically interested in the owner of the hotel's husband, who's back in Bangkok having just suffered a stroke.
In fact, he's going to Bangkok allegedly in the next episode.
So my theory has something to do with that.
Oh, the death of his father is tied to the man in Bangkok.
I think it's what they want you to think, but I think his father is the man in Bangkok.
I like that. Because we did see a picture of...
He's really old.
Yeah.
And I just think it kind of makes sense that this is like a season about meaning, spirituality, life and death. And then there's like this murder element. They want you to think it's like a crime or like a business deal gone wrong. That's putting you in one headspace. But then the reality would be something much more like genuine, or like I want to connect with my dad, or I want to go murder my dad for some reason. Could be it too.
I believe it. How long did it take to convince your audience?
Well, once the episode ended and I elaborated, they were like, oh, yeah, I like that. But in the moment, I was just like, he's lying. And they were like, no, we don't think so. It seems pretty, like, legit. It's like, okay, maybe. And in that moment, I don't think I thought the man in Bangkok was his dad. I just, like, the way he said it made me feel like it was a lie. So then I just kind of stewed on that the whole episode, and I was trying to think of another angle. All right, moving on to another set of characters. Let's go to our favorite trio of friends, played by Carrie Coon, Leslie Bibb,
is that the
and
blonde
Michelle
lady?
Monaghan. Yeah.
Leslie.
I think her name's Leslie.
Is all, of course, love Carrie. Actually, I love all of them so well. And I think it says a lot that Leslie can like carry her weight with these other 2 women, and she's so entertaining to watch. And there's something about her that she's actually like very bubbly and friendly. And there's I'm sure we'll get like more insight into her, but I feel like in these last 2 episodes, we've gotten like the least amount of like we've always seen like her like shield up of being, or I wouldn't even call it a shield, but basically there's one part of the episode where she bumps into the family that was on the boat with them. And she's like really friendly. And she goes up to Parker Posey. She's like, so-and-so? And then Parker...
They had spent a weekend together at a baby shower. Don't you remember me? Don't you remember me? And Parker Posey just this thing, like she just like really doesn't react at all to what she says. Is basically extremely rude. Mm-hmm. And it just made me want to know intensely what the hell happened at that baby shower.
Yeah.
Or is it just that she did so many drugs, Parker Posey, that she doesn't remember her?
Oh, I think it was more specifically the person that they went to for the
third party.
The party. When I saw that, so yeah, Leslie goes up to the table and she's all like perky and like being like really friendly, and then Parker Posey's just like waving her off and like trying to like not acknowledge her, trying to shut down the conversation. It's in front of Parker's entire family. It's very awkward. The youngest son is like looking at Parker like, why the fuck are you being such a dick? And then what I got out of that is I was thinking that like Parker was trying to wave her off because either she didn't want them to know whose baby shower she went to, or something there. Like it's shrouded in mystery. I don't think it was like drug related. They probably want. She definitely mentions the drugs, but I don't think that's that.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that either. I think more that she's taking a lot of pills. Like I don't know how strong her memory is. It's more of the angle I was going for. But no, she was extremely cold and rude. And I just think there's something that happened at the baby shower. Yeah,
and Parker Posey's character validates all of her older son's disgusting...
She laughs at it.
...comments. So much so he goes and gets a massage at one point and pops a boner.
What's with the racket in there? and she's on the phone and he's looking for his protein powder.
Yeah. So he's on the massage table. He gets, like pops a boner, and then he like comes home and is like, "I wanted to get a massage. I didn't even get a happy ending." And Parker Posey's like, "Oh, you," like almost like saying as if he said it as a joke, but clearly
like
he was not. He was like genuinely expected to have a happy ending at the end. But yeah, while he first comes home, Parker Posey's like on the phone and he's just like shuffling around, making a ton of noise, trying to like speak louder. She's like, "Why are you making that a racket?" It's like,
he
"Put
wants
in a
to
blender." She's like, "Just call the service people. They'll bring it's called the butler." I didn't know they have butlers at hotels. Call the butler. He'll bring up the blender. It was, yeah.
And the only other development with that family is that the younger son.
I mean, I feel like it's the development I'm most curious about, like where the hell it's going.
I agree. It's
the most disturbing outright.
The youngest son asked the sister about if she's had sex because the older son claimed that she hadn't, which is really weird because she's so attractive. And naturally, the sister is extremely disturbed and offended by this. And then the son kind of doubles down and is like, "But have you had sex?" And then she's really furious. And then the other element to this family that's happening in the background is that the father, played by Jason Isaacs.
I'm also not interested in that storyline.
At all?
Don't care.
But it would fundamentally, I feel like that he's the reason that they're there at that resort.
Yeah. I don't care. Anytime that he's away from his family, I don't care.
That's Jason Isaacs.
I love it when he's with the family. Love it. Want to see every moment. When he's away on the phone call trying to contact people on Wall Street, I'm like, all right.
Well, did you know who he was talking to? Did you know who Kenny is, the man who got him caught up in the scheme in the first place?
The voiceover person? Mm-hmm. Wait, is it from a previous season?
No. I just recognize. I'm so bad at recognizing voices too, and I knew immediately who it was.
Is he the guy from Everywhere?
Yes.
Everywhere? Is he just everywhere? I wouldn't have known.
It was, I always forget his name. Do you know his K-U-E Kwan?
Well, no, you can't.
I can't say it, unfortunately. That's bad on me. But
the guy from Everything
I wonder.
Everywhere.
I'm assuming that he'll appear, but then I don't know if he will appear because last season Laura Dern was on a phone call and then wasn't actually in the season. So I think it's just like a fun.
And at the end of the phone call, Jason Isaac threatens him. He's like, "Well, don't worry, because I might kill myself."
He's like, "Good, do it." Okay, we didn't really say what was going on with the women.
No.
So basically, they're a group of friends that continually, when the third party is, when one of the three is not present, they talk shit about the other person. Mm-hmm. And we've seen
the actor woman,
Michelle and Leslie do it, and we've seen Carrie and Leslie do it.
And what was interesting about this episode is it literally is connected to, like, a day hasn't passed. Like, we're actually still connected to the night of the previous night because
you're right.
Because Leslie and Michelle, is that her name? Who's the actor?
Yeah, Michelle Monaghan or Montague or something like that.
Michelle and Leslie are like continuing to gossip with each. Like, you hear the conversation that Carrie Coon couldn't hear when she did her amazing cry in the episode.
She did something amazing in this episode too, where
Carrie.
Yeah, where they're they're getting more and more nasty. And then there's like this giant banging sound, and she is locked out because she forgot something, and she's like, "Ah!" And it made me laugh.
Yeah, forgot my charger. But yeah, so now it's switched now where it's like Leslie and Carrie are gossiping about, and it's just like so well done because the same as we talked about in episode 1, the women, even when the three of them are together, they all start with like compliments. But then they kind of become, like, when all three of them are together, they kind of become like someone gets left out in a way. And it's like, "Oh, but you are too," like a last minute compliment. But then with the two women gossiping about the other woman, it always starts out like positive, like, "Oh, she's doing so well.
She's my favorite
She's my favorite.
She looks beautiful."
So it's the same with when Carrie and Leslie are together and Michelle walks off to go read her book. They're like complimenting, like, "Oh, she's amazing." But then it slowly like slips into like, "What about her husband? They don't even see each other."
Yeah, her husband's like 10 years younger.
Yeah. I don't think they live in the same state.
It was interesting. And then, yeah, it was just, the dialogue's really well crafted because it starts from this place of like positivity, and then one person says something slightly negative that's like an opening.
Did you watch the SNL 50th anniversary? Did you watch any clips from that? They bring out Vanessa Bayer and who's Kristen Wiig's partner in crime for Portlandia? Fred Armisen. They come out and they're like Lorne Michaels' friends from growing up, and they're like dressed in all like Canadian gear. And Seth Meyers like, "Oh, you guys are like friends with Lorne Michaels. Did you see this?"
No.
And they're like, "Oh my gosh, love Lorne. Lorne's amazing. Lorne's amazing." And then always one of them, like, they're being like really positive, and then one will always be like, But I will say, when we helped him move, he like wouldn't let me use the restroom. And then when I asked him where I could use the restroom, he said, oh, there's a Starbucks across the street. But you have to buy something. So could you buy me a latte? And he was like doing that. It's kind of reminding me of this. It's like they say positive, 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 and then big. But I will say,
it's like opening the door crack so the other person can step in, and then the door opens a little bit more, and then they can step in further.
And then it's just full on, just insulting.
And then but then they bring it back around
to positive.
Again, So it's very, and it's always couched in the language of, well, we're saying all this because we care. Mm-hmm. But really, it's like just a hotbed of jealousy and resentment and complexity. Did we cover everybody?
I will say, I want to go back to shortly the incest family. We don't know if incest is involved.
We don't
but
know.
The daughter, who I don't know her name, she's out in the hammock. 2 hammocks out in the water on like posts. So I was like, take me there. Amazing. She's out there chilling, and the young innocent brother, who just like visually and just like, and also the episode starts with them like he's like waking up in bed, and his other brother is like his ass is just out, and he's like just like staring at his brother's ass.
Yes, there was something about that was a little.
So they're presenting the young, especially in episode 1, the youngest brother to be very like vulnerable and like fragile and like innocent looking. And he looks so sweet, and you're like, what's gonna happen to him? But then he goes out and sees his sister out in the hammock, and he brings up about how the older brother was talking about how she's really hot, and like how she hasn't had sex yet. She's like has a natural, normal response to be like, why are you talking about? Where in conversation would this possibly come up? Why are you talking about this? And then the younger brother's like, oh, like, and every side is like, please, like she's saying, don't like stop talking about this. But then he like questions, he's like, but have you had sex? And then she like storms off. And so I'm wondering, maybe he'll be a little more of the nefarious.
I mean, my impression of Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, the older character, is that he is someone who is so deeply insecure and desperate for physical affection and physical response. That's why he's always talking about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be the virgin. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's just so weird about sex and constantly drawing attention to it. And I feel like if you're doing that and you're portraying a macho, hyper-masculine, hypersexual persona, you're covering something up. Whether that's lack of experience, desires you don't feel comfortable sharing.
Do you think he'll get together with the motorcycle guy?
I don't remember what the motorcycle guy looks like.
Well, also, the motorcycle guy,
the masseuse?
episode 1, no. The wellness guy who ties in with the 3 ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Is the biometrics. We only see Carrie Coon get the biometrics. But he's like, you have the measurements. I don't know what they're even measuring, like your hydration and stuff like that. You have the measurements of a woman half your age. Like speaking to her, like.
Kind of try to come on to her, but he does it to everybody. Except, but then the interesting wrinkle to that was that Leslie's like, well, he just thought I was average.
Yeah, because the actor friend also brings up, like, uses the same, like, he said I have the health of a woman half my age. And then Carrie's like, I'm sorry to say, but I think he says that to everyone. And then Leslie's like, well, he didn't say that to me. He said I have average levels.
I mean, yes, I do think that's a way it could go with the hooking up. I do think, first of all, there's always a queer element in The White Lotus. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And sure, the masseuse.
I think it's probably the older brother, because the younger brother's a misdirect.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you say last week you saw him gazing at male characters, younger brother? Maybe he's just so young. Maybe he's just looking around.
Yeah, he doesn't know where to look.
He's looking for someone to tell him how to be a man. That's what he wants.
And his brother tells him he was looking for that blender. He was trying to bulk his younger brother up.
Yeah. And I was like, don't do that. He's so sweet and cute and little. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Did we forget any of our people?
Probably, but again, there's so many characters.
That's true. Well, this was a very chaotic but beloved episode.
You say that as if like next episode that we do is not going to be chaotic.
If we follow, if we just like stick to the like characters and then
there are 10 million characters.
We just like always come back to the. We'll, trust me, I'm gonna know all the names.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep us on track. Or I'll force us to.
I wish I had like a little like button machine where anytime we get off track, I can hit it and now it says, "I will keep us on track."
Wait, that's a good idea. If we had like a little bell that I could like.
No, I'm not giving you a bell. Because you'd be like, do you want to hear my theory? Wait, my theory.
Wait, can we right here? We can both use it. We can only use it 2 times. To like.
You supply the bell, and you can.
I have a bell.
For what?
It was from a Game of Thrones bar I went to a long time ago.
Elaborate.
There was a Game of Thrones pop-up bar in Washington, D.C. circa 2018. And I ordered a shame drink, and it came with a little bell. I don't know if it actually rings, but I have it.
You don't know if it actually rings? Is it like still in the packaging?
It's pretty tiny.
What do you mean you don't know if it rings?
It's like this big.
You never tried?
It rings, but I don't know how much. It'd just be kind of
So you're giving your tiniest bell. And that's what would be ringing.
It'll be fun.
The bell that may or may not work. All right, well, tune in next week to see if Allison's bell truly does work.
Yes. And I've memorized all the names of the characters.
And where else we're at in the journey of White Lotus Season 3.
Yeah.
Which we're really enjoying so far.
It's excellent.
Also the Oscars. So next week, so it's going to be kind of complicated.
Yeah, I'm so confused. I'm surprised they didn't skip the week.
The friends that we go to their screening, they don't.
No, I mean like the show. I'm surprised that it's not skipping a week.
Are we sure it's not skipping a week?
Pretty sure.
That's bold.
It's bold. I mean, honestly, I would rather watch The White Lotus than the Oscars.
I say both.
Why not? Poor Kate? Why not everything?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Nobody's commenting on these White Lotus videos.
No, people are commenting. Well, okay. Severance, people like to
we
comment.
Can't. It's confusing.
We don't want our audiences to fight
Cross-contamination.
with one another. We want everyone to feel included.
What does that mean?
I don't want to make it seem like we have a preferred TV show. I don't think I do.
I don't. You're the one that brought it up, though.
I know. I do like that people comment. That makes me happy.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much for listening. This is Queer Cinema Catch-Up's mini episode on The White Lotus. Today we covered Season 3, Episode 2, Special Treatments, and we'll be back next week for Season 2, Episode 3. Please like, subscribe, comment, and check out our other videos and miscellaneous things.